Good evening, everyone. We welcome you all to PRAGNAVARIDHI lecture series, session 3. We have Vaidya Asha ma'am with us. Ma'am will be continuing with the topic ATISARA, GRAHANI and PRAVAHIKA. Handing over the session to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Team Panchajanya. So today we are back with three more important topics of the Annava Srotas, that is Atisara Vyadi, Pravahika Vyadi, as well as Grahani. So clinically as well as academically speaking, these topics are very, very important. So, gaining more information on these topics will help you in all the aspects, irrespective of the exam. So, coming on to the disease Atisara. So, the Vyakhya of Atisara goes as Atishayena Sarayati Rechayati iti Atisara. So, it's very simple. Ati means excess. Sarana or Sara means to move or in motion. So, anything that is being excessively put out, where there is the motion is increased, is Atisara Vyadi. That was the Vyakhya. And this is the references of the chapter Atisara, which is described in detail in all the Samhitas. In Charaka Samhita, Chikitsa Sthana, 19th chapter. In Ashtanga Nidana Sthana, as well as Chikitsa Sthana, it is explained. Ashtanga Sangra also, Nidana and Chikitsa Sthana. And in Sushruta Samhita, Uttara Tantra, 40th chapter, Atisara Pratisheda Adhyaya. So, by this, you can understand that the Vyadi is explained individually and in detail in all the Samhitas. Hence, it is evident since the ancient days. Now, coming back to a very important aspect of how this Atisara Vyadi has got its origin. So, in Ayurveda, most of the diseases we are having the mythological origin. So, as such, even the Atisara Vyadi has got a mythological origin of the disease. So, this disease is related to the king or the Raja, that is Prashadra. So, in the ancient days, we all know that there is this ritual of giving sacrifices to the fire, that is in the oblations. So, in the ancient days, what used to happen is they used to sacrifice the animals, but without sacrificing, after using it for the ritual, they used to be released or they used to be liberated with doing the prayers, but they used to be never slaughtered. But then what happens during a yajna that is performed by Daksha in the later times, and then the same yajnas which were done by most of the sons of the Daksha, such as Manu, Narshiyad, Nagavanam, Ikshvaku, Nriga, Sarayati, all these munis, they started sacrificing the animals after being actually sanctified. But later what happened? The king Prishadra, he wanted to perform a yajna. But by this time, all the previous kings or munis, they had actually sacrificed so many animals. But then the left out were actually cow. So what happened? They started sacrificing the cow as an ahuti for the fire oblation. So what happens after after slaughtering the animal in the fire for the yajna, they started consuming the meat of the animals such as cow, that is go. So what happens after this? When the flesh of these sacrificed cows were eaten by the people, so because of the gurutva, as the mamsa of this cows were guru and ushna and asatna in nature, what happens? It used to not get digested. The agni of the people was gone down, and they were inflicted with mental agony. So that is why this vyadi is again related to that of the manasika vikara also. So it caused the Jataragni Mandya as well as it caused the mental distress to the people, and then it lead to the disease Atisara. So the mythological origin of Atisara is related to the yajna that is performed by King Prishadra. So this is an exam point of view. It can also be asked for multiple choice question. So you can make a note of that. So by this we can understand that the Mano Upagata, the mental distress, as well as the Guru Adi Dravya Sevana, that is the Mamsa Sevana over here, is finding its Mukhya Hetu in the Atisara Vyadhi. So coming to the types of Atisara. So the types of Atisara, according to Acharya Charaka, Shushruta and Vagbata, they are 6 in number. So according to Acharya Charaka and Vagbata, they are Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja, Sannipataja, Bhayaja, as well as Shokaja Atisara. Whereas Shushruta Acharya, he will add the Shokaja Atisara as well as Amaja Atisara, but he does not add the Bhayaja Atisara. So this change also you need to make a note in case of multiple choice question. That is the Bheda of Atisara according to Acharya Shushruta as well as according to Acharya Charaka. So Shoka and Bhayaja is added by Acharya Charaka, whereas Ama and Shokaja Atisara is added by Acharya Shushruta. So before jumping into this, we all need to understand the Samanya Samprapti of the Vyadhi, that is Atisara. So here the Samanya Samprapti of the Vyadhi, it is reference from Shushruta Uttara Tantra 40th chapter 6th shloka. You can all by heart this for the exam purpose. It is not there in the slides, but I am just telling you the reference. Shushruta Uttara Tantra 40th chapter 6th shloka is the reference of Samprapti, Samanya Samprapti of Atisara Vyadhi. It says that Samshamyam Apam Dhaturantaha Krishanum Varcho Mishro Marutena Pranunnaha Vriddho Ativa Adaha Saratyesha Yasmad Vyadhim Ghoram Tam Atisaram Ahuhu. So here he says so beautifully is in Charaka Samhita, the disease Atisara is explained after Arshas. So here you have to keep in mind the main dosha involved in the Arshas Vyadhi was the Vata dosha. So here again the most important dosha which is causing this Atisarana, Ativa Sarana is the Vata dosha. So because of the similarity of this and also as the Arshas, Atisara, Grahani all are afflicting the lower tract or the anus or the Pakvashagata, this is explained one after the other. Hence, the aggravated Vata dosha over here, what happens? It is going to engulf all the water content that is there in the entire body, that is the Ap Dhatu, and it is going to bring this Ap Dhatu to the Koshta. That is what he says. Samshamyam Apam Dhaturantaha Krishanum Varcho Mishro Marutena Pranunnaha. So this water content or the Ap Dhatu which is brought throughout from the body, it is being brought to the Koshta or the Pakvashya. And there what they do, it is going to get Mishra with the Varchas or the stools, and hence it will develop the liquid stools as in Atisara. So Vriddho Ativa Adaha Saratyesha Yasmad Vyadim Ghoram, and this Vyadhi is considered as a Ghora Vyadhi because of its presentation. So after understanding the Samprapti of the Atisara, now we will move on to the individual explanation of the Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja as well as the other types of Atisaras with their Hetu and Lakshana simultaneously. So the Vataja Atisara causative factors, as you can see in the screen, it is more prone in a Vata Prakriti person. It is easily afflicted in him. And Vata, Atapa, Vyayama, Atimatra, Nishevana. So those people who are exposed to excess of wind, Vata, and Atapa, who are exposed to the sun and who is doing excess of Vyayama. So all this exposure in excess, he is also a causative factor for Vataja Atisara. And next he talks about the food. In the second line, Ruksha Bhojana, Alpa Bhojana and Pramitashana. So those people who are intaking very, very dry foods, ruksha ahara, which is lacking the snigdhata, which is very, very dry to digest because it will do the vata prakopa. And who is eating alpa ashana, who is not taking proper quantity of food, who is taking pramita ashana, so who is having infrequent or irregular timings with the food, that is the pramita ashana. Then he says tikshna, madhya, vyavaya, nityasya. So those people who are consuming tikshna aharas as well as viharas, as well as madhya sevana, as well as vyavaya, who is having the regular practice of all this madhya, vyavaya, as well as tikshna items, are a causative factor for the atisara hetu. And he again says the last one as the vega avarodha. So this is very, very important factor in case of the vataja atisara hetu. So the mala, mutra, as well as apana, vega, dharana are a causative factor for the vataja atisara. So in this, all the nidanas you need to keep in mind. See, though the madhya as well as tikshna is for pitta, here it is mentioned under the vataja atisara hetu. So you have to make a note of this. Apart from this, all others are contributing factor to only the vata dosha. So now, how this vataja atisara is caused, we will see the samprapti. So all the previous nidanas, such as we have read about, so all this are going to cause the vata prakopa. So this vata, prakupita vata, will cause the disturbance in the pakti. What is that? It causes disturbance in the digestion or the agni, the jataragni. So this jataragni, when it is being hampered, what happens? The mutra, sweda, purishashayam, upharitya. So mutra and sweda are the ap dhatus which are being brought all together from the entire body. Where it is brought, it is drawn to the purisha ashaya. That is very, very important to understand. So mutra and sweda is brought to the purisha ashaya, and then because of the excess of purisha and mutra that is being brought to the purishashaya, the stools or the varchas that is present in the purishashaya, that is the pakvashaya, it becomes more drava. So this causes the vataja atisara. So here what you need to remember is all the nidanas, vata prakopaka, aharas as well as viharas, they are causing the vriddhi of the vata, aggravated vata. What causes? It will cause the derangement of the agni, and because of this, the mutra as well as the sweda from all over the body are brought to the purishashaya, and excess of this dravatva will going to make the purisha also excess drava, and hence causing the vataja atisara. So how is this vataja atisara lakshana? One more important thing, exam point of view, what you have to note is, in Vataja Atisara, it is not the simple Vataja Atisara, but here the Vataja Atisara is going to take place in two different stages. So one is Vataja Ama Atisara and the other is Vataja Niramaja or Pakwa Atisara. That is the two different stages of the Vataja Atisara. So here, let us see the nidanas that are being happening in the vataja, the lakshanas of the vataja atisara. So the first lakshana of vataja amaja atisara are nothing but vijjala. So what is this vijjala? So vijjala means the stool is going to be very, very slimy as well as mucus oriented, that is mixed with ama. So the mala is ama yukta, right? So here the mala is vijjala. Then it is vipluta. Vipluta means the mala is going to float on the water, that is vipluta mala. Then avasadi. What is avasadi? So this, when this stool or the Vataja Amaja Atisara Mala is placed on a clay pot, the pot is going to get soaked with the mala, that is avasadi. Then the mala is rukshamala, it is avasadi, as well as it is drava. And this type of atisara, vataja ama atisara, it is associated with shula. There is pain in the abdomen, and he says that the mala will emit a bad odor. What type of odor? It is an it is an ama gandhi yukta odor of the mala can be seen. And this type of vataja ama atisara, this is actually of alpa shabda yukta, as well as there can be no shabda as well. So it is alpa shabda yukta or ashabda yukta mala or isha shabda yukta mala. Along with this, the vataja ama atisara also possesses the lakshanas such as vibadda, mutra, vata, atisaryate, purisham. So what does that mean? The evacuation is not accompanied with any flatus or the urine. So the mala is not accompanied with either the flatus or the urine. And vayushchantaha koshte sashabda shula tiryak charati. So here the aggravated vata is going to move in the koshta in oblique directions, and it is going to produce shula as well as shabda. So these are the important lakshanas of vataja ama atisara. So it is vijjala, vipluta, avasadi mala, ruksha, drava mala, and ama gandha yukta mala. So these you need to remember. So what are the next features of Vataja Pakwa Atisara or Niramaja Atisara? So you can consider that Vataja, Niramaja or Pakwa Atisara as an advanced stage of Vataja Atisara. So here the mala is Vibadda mala, Alpa Alpa, Sashabda, Sashula, Fena, Picture. So here what happens? The mala that is being passed, that is in alpa variety, means in small quantities the person will pass the stool, and it is vibadda. The mala is slightly hard compared to that of the ama mala, and here it is again associated with sound. When the person passes the stool, it is associated with sound, that is shabda as well as shula, and mala is fena and pichila. It is frothy as well as slimy on consistency. And here he mentions one terminology, that is parikartika. So what is parikartika? When the person is passing the stool, he is having severe gripping sort of pain while passing the stool, and that is understood as the parikartika. Rishtaroma. So Rishtaroma is again the horripilation the person experiences throughout the body. Vinishvasana or Shwasa Vriddhi. So here the person experiences difficulty in slight breathing, as well as dryness of the mouth will be experienced by the person. That is the Shushka Mukha. And he experiences pain or shula in the Kati Pradesha, Uru Pradesha, Trika, Janu, Prishta, as well as Parshva Pradesha. And he explains one more important feature, that is Bhrashta Guda. So what do you mean by Bhrashta Guda? It is prolapse of the rectum. So this is also exam point of view. It can be asked in multiple choice question, as well as in Vataja Pakwa Atisara. You need to mention this, that is Bhrashta Guda. Then last he says Muhur Vigratita Upaveshyate Purisha Vata. So here the mala that is being passed is actually muhur, means again and again frequently the person will be passing the stool, and the mala is vigratita. We can call it as Skibulous stool means it is very, very hard stool the person will be passing. Unlike the Vataja Ama Atisara, where it was a different sort of mala. So here, what all you have to remember in Vataja Pakwa Atisara is it is again associated with Alpa Alpa Shabda, Shula, Fena and Pichila, but here Parikartika as well as Bhrashta Guda are the important features what you need to remember in Vataja Pakwa Atisara. Now we will move on to the Pittaja Atisara Hetu. So what are the nidanas causing the Pittaja Atisara? So when a Pitta Prakriti person consumes all the Pitta aggravating foods such as the Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikshna, Kshara, Ushna. So all the foods which are having these features when they are consuming in excess or Ati Matra, it causes the Pitta Dosha Vriddhi. Then Pratata Agni Surya. So what he says, when the person is exposed to Agni, that is as well as Surya, means excess exposure to the Santapa. So that will also cause the Pittaja Atisara. Means when the person is exposed to direct or indirect heat, like those who are working in hot furnaces or those who are working in kitchens near the stove for a long time, it causes the Pitta Vriddhi. Then he says Santapa Maruta Upahata Gatrasya. So both are one and the same. And he says Krodha Irsha Bahulasya. So here he mentions the Manasika Nidana as well. So a person who is afflicted with excess of Krodha Irsha as well as Krodha as well as Irsha. So excess of anger as well as enmity, who is having this jealousy feeling, such persons also are prone to the Pittaja Atisara when it is in excess. So what is the samprapti of Pittaja Atisara? So like how we have discussed all the nidanas, when the person is consuming in excess, it leads to the Pitta Prakopa. So here, which guna of the Pitta? So we have so many gunas of Pitta. Just like for Vata, we have Tatra Ruksha Laghu Shita Kara Sukshma Chala Anilaha. So in Vata, it is the Chala guna mode. So here it is the Pitta. So here, among all the gunas of Pitta, the Drava guna of the Pitta will be excessively aggravated. So because of this, the Ushmana Upahatya Purishashaya. So because of this, the Ushna, Drava as well as the Saraguna of the Pitta will be aggravated, and it causes the Bheda of the Mala, means the stools are being broken down, and it causes the Atisara Vyadhi. So what is the features of the Pittaja Atisara? So Pittaja Atisara, the stools or the Purisha will be Haridra, Harita, Neela, Krishna. Malapravritti can be seen in a Pittaja Atisara patient. So here it will be either the yellowish, greenish, Neela Varna, or it will be either the Krishna Varna Malapravritti can be seen in the patient. And along with this, Rakta Pitta Upahitam Ati Durgandam Ati Saryate Purisha. So here he explains that it will be again associated with blood mixed, and it will be having excess of Durganda. Then the person is also he's suffering with Trishna, Daha, Sweda, Murcha as well as Shula. And here there will be Gudapaka can be seen in Pittaja Atisara. So these are the Lakshanas of Pittaja Atisara, where you have to keep in mind all the features of the stool as well as Daha, Guda, Paka can be seen in case of the Pittaja Atisara. Now we move on to the Kafaja Atisara. So Kafaja Atisara Hetu, as you can see on the slides, it is Guru, Madhura, Shita or Snikta Ahara, excess consumption of all these types of ahara, then sampurakasya achintyato. So those people who are not having excess of stress, who are excessively eating habit, as well as who are having achinta and who are doing divaswapna, as well as alasya or who is not having excess of physical activity. So all these nidanas are contributory factors for the kapha dosha to get vriddha. So due to all these nidanas, what happens? The kapha gets prakopa. So kapha swabhavataha, the guna of kapha is guru, madura, shita, as well as snigdha. So all these gunas of the kapha dosha will be hampering the agni, and because of this the saumya swabhava vata purisha ashaya upahatya upakledya. So because of this features, what happens? All this character, it's going to reach the purishashaya and causing the liquidity, excess liquidity of the stools, and finally causing the kafaja atisara. So kafaja atisara lakshanas, as you can see, the mala pravritti in a kafaja atisara person would be snigdha, shweta, pichila, tantuda, ama, guru, durgandha, as well as kafayukta. See, in pittaja also you saw that it is durgandha mala, as well as here also durgandha is mentioned, and as well as it is kafayukta, it is snigdha, and the varna of the mala over here is shweta mala. So this is also as a multiple choice question you need to remember. And the mala is having excess of threadiness, that is why he says tantu. It is mucus filled, it is sticky, viscous, and the stools that are passing are Shulayukta mala. So the person feels excess of pain while passing the stool. Alpa alpa matreta varam varam. So here the person cannot pass the stool with satisfaction. So it is alpa alpa. So defecation is effortful. He has to put in more effort, and it is unsatisfactory, and in spite of all this the person will pass only little quantity of stool in kafaja atisara. And sa pravahikam udara guda basti vankshana pradeshi gurutva. So the person will experience heaviness in the udara pradesha, guda pradesha, basti pradesha, as well as vankshana pradesha. And along with this, kriti api akrita sanyaha. So what happens? Even after passing the stool, the person will not have a satisfaction after passing the stool. So that is kriti api akrita sanyaha. So this is again an question of importance for your multiple choice. That is kafaja atisara. Kriti api akrita sanyaha. Lomaharsha, utklesha, nidra, alasya, sadana, that is deha sadana, as well as annadvesha are experienced by the person of kafaja atisara. So the important were the malapravritti lakshanas as well as the kriti api akrita sanya quotation. Next we see the sannipataja atisara. So in sannipataja atisara, all the nidanas combined of vata, pitta and kapha are included over here, such as the atishita or snigdha, vishama, viruddha, abhojana, atita kala bhojana, then yat kinchit abhyavarana or pradushta bhojana, and pitta dushti like madhyapana, ati madhyapana, or as well as the asamyak shodhana, panchakarma apachara is also being mentioned over here. So all this are causative factors for the sannipataja atisara. So because of all the exposure to all these types of nidanas, what happens? All the tridoshas get aggravated and cause the agni mandya, and this is causing the samprapti in the pakvashaya, and hence all the features of the tridoshas will be experienced in the Sannipataja Atisara patient. So Sannipataja Atisara Lakshana, you can see that the stools are mixed with Raktadi Dhatu Atyadika Dushita. So the mala is Haridra Arita Neela Manjishta Mamsa Dhavana Sannikasham Raktam Krishnam Shvetam Varaha Meda Sadrisham Anubhadda Vedanam. So here he says very important features of the Sannipataja Atisara Lakshana, where the stools are Haridra Varna or Harita Varna and Rakta Varna, and he says Manjishta. So it is similar to that of the Manjishta as well as Mamsa Dhavana, that is meat washed water, how it appears, same like that the Atisara is, as well as it might be Rakta Varna or Krishna Varna or Shweta Varna, as well as he gives an simile of Varaha Meda Sadrisham. So this Atisara is Shakrit, Gratitam Amam Shakrit Api Pakvam. So here the Mala is again Gratita Mala, or it is very watery or loose. So it is mixed type of mala which can be seen in this type of Atisara. So now we shift on to the last variety, that is the Bhayaja or Shokaja Atisara, that is being coming under the category of Agantuja Atisara. So all the Lakshanas of the Vataja Atisara can be seen in case of the Bhayaja or Shokaja Atisara. So most of you might have experienced this because of the exam fear or any sort of fear, the person will suddenly experience loose stools. So that is the positive factor in case of the Bhayaja or Shokaja Atisara, where the Lakshanas are similar to that of the Vataja Atisara. Then we have this explanation of the Raktaja Atisara as well. It is being explained in Charaka Chikitsa chapter 9th or 19th chapter itself. So this Raktaja Atisara will be happening in a person of Pittaja Atisara. So here it is a Nidanarthakakara. So Pittaja Atisara patient will be experiencing the Raktaja Atisara when the Chikitsa of Pittaja Atisara is not properly done, and the person after it is cured, he has not followed the patya, etc. So Pittala Annapanani Sevana by such patient will cause the Pittavardhana, and Pittavardhana is causing the Rakta Dushti because they both are interrelated to each other, and finally leads to the Raktaja Atisara. So in Raktaja Atisara, the Lakshanas are the person experiences excess of Trishna, Shula, Daha, as well as Budapaka, that is separation of the anus, can be seen in such a patient, and the stools are blood mixed or Rakta Mishrita. Now coming to the Sadhyata of Atisara Vyadhi, in case it is in the starting or in the Nava Avastha or Pratama Avastha, the Vyadhi is Krichra Sadhya. In case the Vyadhi is very chronic or in Jirna Avastha, the Atisara Vyadhi is Asadhya. That is the Sannipataja Atisara. So what are the features of the Krichra Sadhya Atisara? This is very important with respect to the exam point of view. This can be asked for short answer question where the explanation of Asadhya Atisara should be given to you. So that Atisara which is having the color of the Pakwa Jambu Phala, or it is similar to that of the Yakrit, that is a piece of liver, Yakrit Kandanibam, or it is Tanu, Grita, Taila, Vasa, Majja, Veshavara, Upayo, Dadi. So if at all the color of the fecal matter is similar to that of all these, that is Grita, Taila, Vasa, Majja, or Veshavara, or Pakwa, Jambufala, Sankasha, or it appears that of the Yakrit Kanda. So all these are the asadhya lakshanas of the Atisara, and you have to remember it, keeping in mind as the exam point of view. And Mamsa Dhavana. So it is appearing that of the Mamsa Davana Toya, or it is Krishna Varna or Neela Aruna. And he again explains one terminology over here, that is Mechaka Varna. So here Mechaka is similar to that of the peacock feather. If it is resembling to that of the peacock feather Varna, Mechakam, Snigdam, Karburam, Chandrava, Gopagatam, Ghanam. So it is similar to that of the, if it is Snigdha as well as Kopagata, as well as if it is Ghana, that is also considered as an Asadhya Atisara. So these are all again can be asked even for the multiple choice questions. And he again says Kunapa, Mastulungabam. So Kunapa is one which is dead and decayed, and the stool that is appearing like that of the Mastulunga, that is the brain tissue. Sugandhi, Kutitam, Bahu. So when it is having all these features, this can be understood that it is an Asadhya Atisara. So all these points are very, very important with respect to that of the Asadhya Atisara Lakshanas. So with this, we can end the chapter on Atisara. I think it was very much detailed with respect to the types as well as the Samanya Samprapti, as well as Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja, then Bhayaja, Shokaja Atisara, as well as Sanipada Jatisara. And in Vataja Atisara, you have to keep in mind the both Amaja as well as Pakvaja variety in mind. So with this, we will move on to the next chapter, that is Pravahika. So what is the difference between Atisara as well as Pravahika? So in Atisara, there was Ativa Sarana of the Mala, whereas in Pravahika, what is there? There is excess of Pravahana. Pravahana means to push, where the person is putting excess of pressure. So that Pravahana is the important feature of Pravahika Vyadhi. You need to keep that in mind. So Uchyate Nana Dravadhatu Saranam Atisaraha. Pravahikayam tu Kevalam Kafa Saranam Ayam Atra Bhedaha. So here one more important thing what you need to remember over here is in Pravahika there is more than Mala, there is Kafa Sarana. Excess of mucus excretion will be seen in case of a Pravahika Vyadhi. So this is the difference between Atisara as well as Pravahika. So both the commonness, as I said, is they are passing the liquid matter through the anus or Guda Pradesha, and they are characterized by Ama and Pakva stages. So Pravahika is described following the Atisara Vyadhi. In the same chapter itself, the Pravahika is explained, but as an exam point of view, it is given as a different chapter. So Pravahika, a reference is explained in the same chapter, that is Atisara. So in Atisara, various kinds of fluids will flow out, but in Pravahika, what? You can see only Kapha Nissarana or Shleshma Nissarana. So this is the important differentiation between the Atisara as well as the Pravahika. So the next is the definition. This is an important shloka from Shushruta Uttaratantra, 40th chapter, 138th shloka. You have to by heart this for the exam owing to the definition or explanation of the Pravahika Vyadhi. So the shloka says as Vayuhu pravriddho nichitam balasam nudyad adastada ahita ashanasya pravahanam asya muhur malaktam pravahikam tam pravadanti tadnyaha. So he says that the pravriddha vata, vayu pravriddho. So what happens? The aggravated vata will pull down or strain down the balasam natyuddha adastad. So he says to the adho marga, it is going to pull the kapha dosha that is being accumulated because of the ahita ahara as well as the viharas. So this evacuation or the mala which is happening through the anal canal and which is occurring muhur muhur. So he says muhur malaktam is the vyadhi, that is pravahika. So this is an important shloka which you need to by heart. So there is another meaning. Pravahamanasya brisham sahamam vishonitam va api sashonitam va swalpam muhuryasya shakrin nireti pravahika tasya hi sampravritta. So this is another contribution from in Siddhanta Nidana, where he says that here the person is doing the expulsion of the Shonita as well. So sometimes it might be mixed with Shonita, sometimes it might not be mixed with Shonita, and sometimes the mala is very less in quantity, swalpam, and muhur muhur, it is frequent expulsion, and it is mixed with either blood or it is not mixed with blood, but definitely there is mucus, mixed stools that is passed. And in Sharangadhara Samhita, for the same disease, he says sashabdam kantabalena vayur apana margena bahir nissaranam pravahika. So here the important feature that is being said by author Sharangadhara Samhita in Adamala commentary, he says that Kuntana is one important feature in the pravahika because the person is going to strain, making the sound from his kanta, like such sound he makes, means he is doing the pravahana or kuntana, holding his breath. So he will generate this noise because he is straining too much to pass the stool. So this is the feature of the pravahika, that is kuntana. So what are the types of pravahika? So pravahika has got 4 different types, that is all the three doshas, 3 types, and 1 raktaja pravahika. Vataja, pittaja, kafaja as well as raktaja pravahika are 4 types to be explained over here. So this is according to Sharangadhara Purvakanda. So what are the features of this? Pravahika, Vatakrita Sashula. So Vataja Pravahika is characterized by excess of Shula. Pittat Sadaha. So Pittaja Pravahika is characterized by excess of Daha. And Sa Kafa, Kafacha. So Kafaja Pravahika is experiencing lot of mucus mixed stool. Then Shonitaja Pravahika, it is mixed with Shonita. Tu Taha Sneha Ruksha Prabhava Matasto Tasam Atisara Avadishche Lingam Kramam Chapi Vipakvam Pakwatam Cha. So these are the lakshanas of all the types of pravahikas in brief. And next we study about the samprapti of the pravahika vyadhi. So this was the same shloka which we actually used for reading the definition of the Vyadi Pravahika. So you can think about that only. So Vayuhu Pravriddho Nichitam Balasam Nu Dadyat Adastad Ahita Ashanasya Pravahato Alpam Bahusho Malaktam Pravahikam Tam Pravadanti Tadnyaha. So the aggravated Vata dosha is going to pull down the up dhatu and it is going to do the drava mala pravritti, and the stools are mixed with mucus or shleshma, and the main characteristic is actually pravahana. So this is the pictorial representation of the chart where it says excess of Nidanasya Ahita Aharkara Vihara leading to Jataragni Mandya, where it is mixed with Sama Kapha or Vata Dosha Prakopa, leading to all these features. Like I said, it is Kapha Yukta Mala or Shleshma Yukta Mala, which causes excess of Kshovana in the Antra, means difficult, where all the intestine is being twisted and turned and causing the pravahana or kuntana, where he strains. So because of all this act, there is sakafa mala pravritti through the guda marga, and that is called as the pravahika vyadi. So let us see the differences between atisara and pravahika. This can be asked in the exam for short answer or short essay, where pravahana is present in pravahika, whereas absent in case of atisara, and tenesmus. Tenesmus is one important feature where even after passing of the stool, or even if there is no stool to pass, the person will have that urge to pass the stool again and again, where he will not have that satisfaction, and that is called as tenesmus, and that tenesmus is being present in case of pravahika vyadi, not in atisara. So let us talk about the matra of the mala. So the matra of the mala, which can be seen in case of atisara, is adhika matra mala, and the person will be again and again passing the stool. So muhur muhur drava mala pravritti can be seen in case of the atisara vyadi, whereas in pravahika it is ati alpa matra dravamala pravritti, whereas kapha will be mixed with the stool in case of pravahika always, whereas in atisara it might be present or it might not be present also. So sarkafa mala pravritti is a feature of pravahika. This is important. So the nature of disease, both the diseases atisara as well as pravahika, these both are ashukari vyadi, because the person, if not treated, he will end up in serious complications. Hence it is a ashukari vyadi. Rakta pravritti kadachit. Rakta pravritti can be seen in both atisara and pravahika at any time, but it is not a very important feature. It might or it might not be seen. Then ashaya bheda, both the diseases atisara and pakvashya, both are pakvashya samukta roga. So these are the differences as well as similarities between the atisara as well as the pravahika. So here ends the discussion on pravahika after atisara. And now we finally move on to the last vyadi of the day, that is grahani. So after understanding atisara, pravahika, so all this are pakvashayotta, or all these stools are being passed through the Guda Pradesha. But now we will study about one important feature or one important disease, that is Grahani. So you might have all heard about the terminology Grahani as an Ashaya, right? As an organ. But now we are studying Grahani as a Vyadi or Grahani Gada. So this is a very important disease where it can be asked for long essay question. So we will just move on to the introduction to the Grahani Vyadhi, where Grahani, you can understand, just like I said, it is a Avayava Pradhana Vyadhi, where the Grahani is being functionally as well as structurally hampered. And we all know that Grahani is the sthana of the Agni. So here the Agni itself, the Agni sthana itself is being vitiated. And one more question, what you can make a note for multiple choice over here is, it is considered as an Ashtamahagada according to the Acharya Vagbhata. So Acharya Vagbhata considers Grahani as an Ashtamaha Gada, and he calls this Vyadhi as Sudustara, means it is difficult to diagnose as well as it is difficult to cure. And one more thing what you can note over here is the Grahani as well as the Agni which is present in the Grahani, they both share the Adhara Adheya Sambandha. So they both are sharing the same locality. Hence the dependent and interdependent relation are being shared between the two. So this chapter, Grahani, is again explained individually in all the Samhitas. Charaka Samhita, Chikitsa Sthana, Shushruta Samhita, Uttara Tantra, 40th chapter, Ashtanga Sangraha Nidana, as well as Chikitsa, it is being explained, and Ashtanga Hridaya Nidana, as well as Chikitsa also, it is being explained. So with this, we can understand that how important the Vyadhi is, where one author is considering it under the heading of the Ashtamaha Gada itself. So, coming to the Nirukti of Grahani. So, according to Shabdakalpadruma, the Vyadhi Grahani is Agni Adishthana Nadi, as well as according to Vachaspatyam, it is the Pittadhara Kala. Grahani is the Pittadhara Kala. And according to Monier Williams, which is an English Sanskrit dictionary, so Grahani is an imaginary organ that lies between the stomach and the intestine, wherein the bile that is being collected for digestion. So the Grahani Chikitsa Adhyaya, 15th chapter in Charaka Samhita, it is being explained. So in this chapter, they will be explaining you the importance of Agni, and that is followed by the importance of the digestion, or how the digestion process will happen. So all this is being explained in the same chapter, that is the Grahani Adhyaya. And before explaining Grahani, they'll explain you the concept of Ajirna, Lakshana Nidana Samprapti, and then he will come into the explanation of the Grahani Gada or Grahani Vyadhi. So this is the Swarupa of the Grahani as an Ashaya, as you can see in the picture. It is an Amashaya, and here in this portion, the Grahani Urdhva Bhaga is there, and this is continued to further duodenum, jejunum, as well as the small intestine. So the Grahani is considered as the Agni Adhishthanam, Annasya Grahanat Grahani Mata. So the main function of this Grahani is to Grahana of the Ahara and do the Pachana. And where it is situated? It is situated Nabi Upari Bhaga, and Agni Balena Upashta Upashta Updha Brahmhita. So here the Grahani is being supported as well as nourished by the Agni itself in that sthana. And Apakvam Dharayat Annam Pakvam Srujati Parshvataha. So he says that the Grahani is an Ashya which is going to get the Apakva Ahara, and then it is going to do the digestion or Paka of the Apakva Ahara, and then it is going to push the food from its side to the further. Srujati Parshvataha Durbala Agni Bala Drishtva Tva Meva Vimunchati. So when the Agni becomes deranged, in spite of that also, the undigested food material is also being pushed further. So this Grahani dosha is often caused by Arshas. Therefore, it is described after the Arshas Chikitsa. So here, this is all the explanation about the physiology of Grahani. So we'll just go into the disease than the Grahani. So the Grahani Vyadi Nidana can be considered as the Nidana, where previously when we are talking about Amla Pitta as well as Agni Madhya, we spoke about the shloka Abhojanad, Ajirnad, Atibhojanad, Vishamashanad, Asatya Gurushit, Atiruksha, Sandushta Bhojanad, Vireka Vamana, Sneha Vibramad, Vyadi Karshana, Deshakala, Rutu Vaishamyad, Veganam Chavidaranad, Dushyat Agnihi. So as Grahani is a sthan of Agni, the Agni Dushti Nidana can be considered as the Nidana for the Grahani Gada as well. And about this we have already spoken in the Agni Mandya chapter. Hence, you don't need to, I don't need to brief more upon that. So the Nidanas here can be divided into Aharaja Nidana, Viharaja Nidana, as well as Anya Nidanas. Like Aharaja Nidanas, all including the Abhojana, Ajirna, Atibhojana, Vishamashana, Viharaja, the Virechana, Vamana, as well as Sneha Vibrama, as well as Vegadharana, and other Nidanas where Deshakala, Ritu, Vaishamya can be considered. So that was the Nidana of the Grahani Vyadi. Now we move on to the Purva Rupa. So prior to the manifestation of the actual Grahani, there are some of the Purva Rupas. So the Purva Rupa of Grahani is important, and this is from the reference you can all note down. Charaka Chikitsasana 15th chapter 55th shloka. You need to by heart this shloka. So the shloka says Purva Rupam tu tasyedam trishna alasyam balakshayaha vidaho asya pakascha chirat kayasya gauravam. So these are all the lakshanas that appear just prior to the manifestation of the Grahani Roga, where the person experiences Trishna, excessive thirst, excessive weakness. He feels that he cannot do any activities. He experiences burning sensation in the body as well as Chira Annapaka. So the person experiences delayed digestion, and Kaya Gauravam. He experiences excess of heaviness of the body. So you can by heart only the shloka of Charaka, that is from Charaka Chikitsa 15th chapter, whereas Acharya, Shushruta as well as Vagbhata will add one feature in the Pura Rupa, that is Karnakshveda. Karnakshveda means tinnitus or ringing in the ears. And in the multiple choice questions, this Karnakshveda can be considered, the Karnakshveda can be considered as an important Purva Rupa, and that is the contribution of the author Shushruta as well as Vagbhata. You need to keep this in the mind. So what are the Samanya Lakshana of the Grahani Gada? So the Samanya Lakshana of the Grahani Gada are Trishna, Arochaka, Asya Vairasya, Praseka, Tamakanvitaha, Shuna, Padakaraha, Sa Asti Parvaro, Chardanam, Jwaraha, Loha Amagandis, Tiktamla, Udgarascha, Jayate. So these are all the Lakshanas of the Grahani Vyadhi. So what all? The person will experience excess of thirst, aruchi, then asya vairasya, this taste in the mouth, as well as excess of salivations in the mouth, as well as tamakanvitaha. So the person will experience excess of darkness in front of his eyes, and one important lakshana over here is swelling of the extremities, that is pada as well as the kara. swelling. Asti, parvaruk can be seen. Chardana, excess of vomiting, as well as jwara can be seen in this patient, and the person will again experience loha as well as ama gandha as well as tikta amla udgara. So through the mouth, a person will be excreting the smell of loha gandha, just similar metallic taste, ama gandha, undigested food, as well as the udgara or the eructations will be tikta as well as amla udgara can be seen in the person. So tikta, amla, udgara as well as amagandha are the points which you can remember for the multiple choice questions as a samanya lakshana of grahani vyadhi. So Acharya Shushruta also, he speaks about almost all the same similar to that of the charaka, but he explains one important, that is Tikta Amla Loha as well as Dhumagandhi. Dhumagandhi is not explained by Acharya Charaka, where Dhumagandhi, like the smell, it is similar to that of the smoke, is being explained in the according to Acharya Shushruta. You can keep that in mind. So the Pratyatma Lakshana, that was the Samanya Lakshana till now, what I explained. But there are some Pratyatma Lakshanas which you need to remember in the Grahani Vyadhi, and that is very, very important as such. Where he says, Ekashah Sarvaschaiva Doshe Atyartam Uchritaihi Sadushta Bahusho Bhuktam Amameva Vimunchati Pakvam Va Sarajam Puti Muhur Baddam Muhur Dravam. So with all these lakshanas, the most important over here is the person will pass the stool sometime which is muhur baddha and sometimes that is muhur drava. So muhur baddha malapravritti as well as muhur drava malapravritti are the important feature of the grahani roga, where the person is passing sometimes constipated stool and sometimes the stools are liquidy. That is very, very important. Coming to the types of grahani. So the grahani are of 4 types according to Acharya Charaka, Sushruta as well as Vagbhata. That is Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja as well as Sannipataja grahani. Just a minute. Yes, we'll get back. Sorry for the interruption. So here there are these 4 types of grahani, that is Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja as well as Sannipadaja grahani. These are according to Acharya Charaka, Shushruta and Vagbhata. So apart from this, there are 2 more important varieties of grahani, that is Sangraha grahani as well as Ghati Yantra grahani. This is very, very important. This exam point of view, this can be asked for short essay as well as in multiple choice question, that is Sangraha grahani as well as Ghati Yantra grahani. This is an important contribution from the author, that is Madhava Kara. So in Madhava Nidana grahani chapter, the Ghati Yantra grahani as well as Sangraha grahani are being explained. So now let us see the all the Grahanis Lakshanas in brief. So as we have said, the Vataja Grahani, all the Nidanas of Vata, Prakopakara, Ahara as well as Vihara are contributing factors for Vataja Grahani. For Pittaja Grahani, all the Nidanas of Pitta Prakopa such as Katu, Vidahi, Amla, Kshara, Ajina, Bhojana, Tikshna, Ushna can be considered as a Nidana for Pittaja Grahani. And for Kafaja Grahani, it is all the Nidanas such as Guru, Snigdha, Shita, Ati Bhojana, Bhukta Matra, Swapna and other Nidanas of Kafaja features can be considered over here. So with keeping all those Nidanas in head, the Grahani Rupa or Lakshanas can be classified into all these varieties where into abdominal symptoms, what are the nature of the stool the person is excreting as well as the specific character of that as well as the generalized symptoms what can be seen in this Vyadhi. So in Vataja Grahani, the abdominal symptoms, what can be perceived is the food digest with difficulty. The food digests with difficulty and there is Shukta Paka means it will be fermented and the person experiences Visuchika. Whereas the nature of the stool in case of the Vataja Grahani is as a Vataja Grahani would be the person will pass the stool with difficulty and it is mixed with froth and undigested and repeatedly the person will be passing the stool in Vataja Grahani. Whereas in Pittaja Grahani, the nature of the mala is very, very drava mala, undigested, and the color of the mala is explained in Pittaja Grahani, that is bluish or yellowish in color. Whereas in Kafaja Grahani, the abdominal symptoms is the food that is the digestion is bit slower in case of the Kafaja Grahani and the stools that are not well formed, broken stools and those stools which are Guru and Amayukta Mala Pravritti can be seen in case of a Kafaja Grahani Vyadhi. So the generalized symptoms what we can see in Vataja Grahani is the person experiences Rukshata as well as Rukshata in the Deha as well as in the Kanta and in the Mukha Pradesha and the person is afflicted with lot of hunger, thirst and blood vision. Tama Pravesha as well as Karanakshveda as well as seen in case of Vataja Grahani as well and pain in the thigh region or Ura Pradesha. And the Pittaja Grahani features, it can be read for the indigestion, anorexia, thirst, and the person will experience Puti as well as Kunapa Gandha, and the Udgara would be Amla Udgara, and the person would experience Daha in the cardiac region, and there is Daha in the Guda Pradesha, Parshva Pradesha, as well as in the head region. The person will experience the Daha. So when we come on to the Kafaja Grahani, the person will experience the Praseka as well as Chardi, Aruchi, and he experiences the Madura Asyata. That you need to remember over here. And the Udgara are also Madhura Udgara. And the person will experience lot of weakness. So keeping all this symptomatology in mind, there are certain specific lakshanas to that of the Vataja, Pittaja and Kafaja Grahani, and those are in Vataja Grahani, the person will have this flatulence. Okay, he will get the flatulence after as well as the during the digestion of the food. So that is one important feature in case of the Vataja Grahani. Whereas in case of the Pittaja Grahani, there is Kunapa Gandha as well as Amla Udgara that can be seen. And in case of the Kafaja Grahani, the person experiences lot of Guruta in the Udara Pradesha. So these are the features of the Vataja, Pittaja as well as the Kafaja Grahani. So the Samprapti of the Grahan Roga would be as such. This shloka, you can actually by heart this shloka, that is Durbalo Vidahatyannam Tadyat urdhvam ado apiva adastu pakvam amam va pravritta grahani gadaha uchate sarvameva annam prayo yasya vidayate atisrishtam vibaddam va dravam tadupa dishyate. This is from Charaka Chikitsa 15th chapter 51st shloka. You can keep that in the mind. So the Samaya Samprapti of the Grahani Roga would be because of all the Nidana Sevanas, Vata, Pitta and Kapha, there is Agni, Mandya, and because of the Manda Agni, what happens? The Anna Rasa become Vidagda. Dagda means complete digestion. Vidagda means partial digestion will take place. So what happens? Because of the partial digestion, the partial or improperly digested ahara rasa will be entering into the circulation. So this ahara rasa, which is vidagda, which is entered into the circulation, will move in the both directions, that is urdhva gati as well as adhogati. And when it moves in the adhogati, it is manifested with pratyatma lakshanas of grahani roga, that is ati srishtamala, ati baddamala as well as ati drava mahal mala with muhur pravritti. Before we jump into this, we need to learn about the Sangraha Grahani as well as Ghati Yantra Grahani as well. So the reference, as I said, it is from the Madhava Nidana Grahani Adhyaya itself. You can by heart the shlokas from Madhava Nidana Grahani Adhyaya 4th chapter, 1st to 3rd shloka of Sangraha Grahani, where he says, आंत्रकूजनम आलस्यम दौर्बल्यम सदनम तथा द्रवम शीतम गनम स्निग्धम स कटिवेदनम शकृत आमम बहु सपैचिल्यम सशब्दम मंदवेदनम पक्षान मासाद्याशा द्वा नित्यम व अपत्यम मुंचति दिवा प्रकोपो भवति रात्रो शांति व्रजेच्छया दुर्विघ्नया दुश्चिकित्स्या चिरकाल अनुबंधनी सा भवेत् Amavatena Sangraha Grahani Mata. So what happens is, he explains that this is a special or a critical type of Grahani Roga, where it is characterized by Antrakujana, means excess of peristaltic movement in the abdomen, where the person experiences alasya, daurbalya, pain. And the nature of the mala in case of Sangraha Grahani is Dravamala, Sheetamala, as well as Ghanamala and Snigdhamala, and the person will experience pain in the Kati Pradesha. And here, all this Lakshanas, what is said, he says that it will be experienced Pakshan, Masal, Dashadva. So, all these symptoms will occur at an interval of 10 days or 15 days or even a month. Pakshan, Masa or even Dashad Va. So these are the Lakshanas of the Sangraha Grahani, what you need to keep in mind. So this Lakshanas will aggravate in the Diva, that is in the daytime, and it will get Shanti in the Ratri. So this you need to remember. Diva Prakopo and Ratro Shanti. This is, you can remember for the multiple choice question. That is in case of the Sangraha Grahani. And next we will see that what is Ghati Yantra Grahani. So Ghati Yantra Grahani shloka from Madhavanidana Grahani chapter 4th chapter 4th shloka, where he says Swapataha Parshvayoho Shulam Gala Jhala Ghati Dwani. So this is very important line, that is Gala Jhala Ghati Dwani Tam Vadanti Ghati Yantram Asadhyam Grahani Gadam. So he says that in Ghati Yantra Grahani, you might have heard about this Ghati. Ghati means pot. Okay. So the old age mechanism which is used to water a farm is nothing but the Ghati. So when the water is pulled from a pot or an earthen vessel and this water is being transformed, what happens? There is one sound that is produced. So the stools that are being passed in the Gati and the Grahani, it is similar to that of the noise that is heard from the Ghati. So in one way, the Ghati and the Grahani can be understood as a further stage of the Sannipataja Grahani. So the particular noise that is being produced is compared with the rumble formed due to very weak condition of the intestine. That is why he has used the term Ghati Yantra. So when the patient is in sleeping posture, that is Swapataha Parshvayoho. So when the person is sleeping towards the lateral position, a special type of intestinal sound will be heard from the intestine. That is why he says Gala Jhala Ghati Dvani. So this rumble is similar to that of the sound that is being water poured from one vessel to the another vessel. So in this type of Grahani, the patient is always in a state of semi-conscious state, and this is an incurable state. So that is the difference between the Ghatiyantra Grahani as well as the Sangraha Grahani. Both are important with respect to the exam point of view as well as the short answer as well as multiple choice question. And now we speak about the Samprapti Ghataka of Grahani Dosha. So Grahani Dosha, the Nidanas are Aharaja, Viharaja and Anya Nidanas. The dosha which is involved over here is Pitta Pradhana Tridosha, as well as the Dusha is Rasa, as well as the Agni is Jataragni Mandyajanya. Jataragni Mandya, as well as Ama is Jataragni Mandyajanya Ama, and the Srotas involved are the Rasava Srotas, Annavaha, as well as the Purushavaha Srotas are involved over here. All the three. Sroti Dushti is Sangha Atipravritti as well as Vimarga Gamana can be considered, and Udbhavasthana of the Vyadhi is definitely the Amasha because Grani is the Pakwamasya Madhyaga, and Roga Marga it is the Abhyantara Roga Marga, and Vyadhi Swabhava is Chirakari Vyadhi, and Adhisthana of this Vyadhi is basically Grahani. And here the Sadhya Sadhyata of the Grahani Roga we can understand is if the Grahani is developed, it is actually considered as an Asadhya Vyadhi. Although it manifests in young ages, there are chances to cure only if there is good strength of the Grahani organ itself. But in case it will advance with age, the Grahani Kada, it becomes very critical to cure. Hence, the Grahani Roga is itself the Asadhya Vyadhi. So here we end the discussion on the very important 3 chapters of the Annava Srotas, that was nothing but your Atisara, Pravahika as well as Grahani Gada. So with this we can end the session today. So if anything you can let me know.
Thank you for the session, ma'am. Thank you for so patiently explaining everything so detailed. There's a student who has asked a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, can we read only must-know topics for final exams, as there will be overall 90 marks from must-know syllabus only?
Yes, actually, see, we can't expect how the questions will come because first time you are being given this type of pattern from NCISM. Most of the times, what happens is we stick on to the pattern, but sometimes the questions are coming out of the syllabus also. You stick on 90 marks to the must know questions, but along with that, you just keep an eye on other things too, so that you will not miss them, and there should be no chance for any sort of mistakes from your side.
Yes, ma'am. There's another question. All modern diseases of RN subjects are in a desire to know syllabus, and only Ayurveda diseases are in must know syllabus. Can we just focus on must know syllabus by neglecting modern topics? Because all modern topics are in desire to know syllabus.
See, I will give you a clarity on this. See, we have been like I have been doing my UG way back in 2000, 10, 11, 16 batch onwards. So that time we were not like nothing was designed as such like this is desired to know or this is must to know, but we used to concentrate on everything. So in a question paper, out of 10 questions, 9 questions or 8 questions will be from Ayurvedic context only, but there are 1 or 2 questions which will come from the modern topic. Hence it is important for you to learn. So for this, what I would suggest is you can go through the previous question papers and what all modern questions they have given. No, you can concentrate upon them, but not at all touching that is a very bad option, because being a doctor, especially an Ayurvedic doctor, it is a what I can say is like we have that dignity to read both modern as well as Ayurveda. But if you're reading it for the first time during the exam, you just go through the previous question papers and in brief, you read the modern topics as well. But neglecting is not the right option.
Yes, ma'am. I think
Okay.
that's all with the doubt session. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for the session, ma'am. We'll
Yeah.
continue tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.